a dedicated pet photographer, Brian Lighthouse, works in his studio in the city. He also hired a female assistant named Tanya. She was very expressive with her love for him. He finds her irritating every time she flirts. Brian has already dealt with different pets and clients. Some are easy to shoot, while few give him headaches. One time, he was taking photos of a sensitive dog. The dog owner was not cooperative and left him in charge of the pet. The doorbell rang, and a new client arrived. She is a wealthy woman who owns a cat. Brian told Tanya to take care of her and never let her pet see the dog. The lady obeyed and showed her the costumes for her cat. Tanya had difficulties in choosing the cat's outfit. She went to Brian to ask for some advice. The woman followed her with her cat. The dog growled after seeing the cat. It attacked the woman's pet, and they roamed around the studio, running. They were reckless and broke the things inside. They left a mess, and Brian cleaned it. Tanya apologized. The man accepted it since she was just newly hired. Meanwhile, a Croatian mobster Vlatko Nikitin visited the city. He's already a U.S. citizen, and he loved all the opportunities offered in the country for owning a green card. Vlatko meets immigration agents Ross and Mayers to talk about something. He expressed his intention also to want his only daughter, Masha, to have a green card. Vlatko pulled a white envelope from his pocket. He told the agents that he was willing to pay $10,000 to speed up the citizenship process. It hurt the agents' egos. They declined the offer and made it clear to the man that they don't expedite in the agency. They also told him that he was lucky because he may face imprisonment for bribing the agency. The agents walked out, upset with his offer. Vlatko felt embarrassed. He got angry with his assistant, Brix, for not doing his job well. Brix promised to find another staff in the immigration whom they could bribe. The man told him that it would be impossible to do so. They have to find another way. The INS will surely have eyes on Masha after talking to their agents. Brian was feeling stressed after the pets rambled in his studio. He decided to visit an acupuncture clinic to unwind. The traditional doctor said that he was suffering from stress. He grabbed the fine needles and inserted them into specific points on his feet. Brian felt relaxed, and he closed his eyes. Suddenly, two men entered the clinic. Tall and strong guys kidnapped Brian. They are Brix and Oleg, the Croatian mobster's assistants. Brian was brought to Vlatko. The photographer asked the purpose of kidnapping him. The wealthy man replied that he had never abducted him. He was the one who owed him a lot. The woman who owned the cat is his wife. The cat was injured after the incident. Because of that, his wife has been feeling heartsick for the past weeks. Brian apologized and reasoned that his assistant was newly hired and didn't know how to handle pets. He's willing to pay the vet fees for the injury. Vlatko said that the cat was not a problem. He was just concerned with his wife's condition. Brian pleaded for forgiveness and asked him what he needed to do to pay the damages he caused him. Vlatko said that he should marry his daughter. He told him that Masha had a problem with her visa. Acquiring a green card will be easier if she marries a U.S. citizen. Brian declined. He never even met his daughter. But Vlatko insisted. He told him that he could annul her daughter after a year of marriage. He's also not allowed to touch her because she's meant to be married to Brix, his assistant whom he trusts the most. If he violates his rule, he will end his life. Vlatko released Brian to give him time to think. That night, Brian had a hard time sleeping because of the offer. He never met Masha, and he had no idea if he'll love her. As he recalled, her mom was not that attractive, and neither was her dad. Brian couldn't imagine what she looked like once they met each other. Confused, he talked to his mom over the phone. He told her he was forced to marry a Croatian girl he had never met. Her dad will take his life if he declines. Instead of worrying for her son, Brian's mom was glad to hear that he was finally getting married. She thought it was good news. She wanted to have grandchildren already, but Brian is her only son. Her son told her that he was not even allowed to touch her. She replied to stop whining and marry the girl. 2 weeks before the marriage, Brian met Vlatko in a private jet. He already accepted the offer to marry his daughter. Vlatko was happy to hear that. He gave a precious ring that he would use for the wedding. The ring was so elegant and expensive. He bought it on purpose so that the INS agents won't doubt their marriage. In the studio, Tanya was shocked to hear that her dear Brian was soon getting married. She was not convinced because it looked rushed to her. She thought he wanted to dump her, and that's why he's making excuses. Brian was irritated by what she said. He made it clear to the lady that he only sees her as his assistant and nothing special. Tanya never gave up. She flirted with him with the hope that he would fall for her. Brian pushed her away and said he was about to marry and was serious with her. The following day, Brix met Brian. He oriented him on his incoming marriage with Masha. He also wanted him to memorize some details of their relationship. This includes the place they first met and where he proposed to her. Brix also shared the things that Masha likes and dislikes. He did it to prepare him in case INS agents would interrogate him. He advised him to calm down and do his best so they won't suspect their marriage. Brian went to the nightclub where he met Masha. He finally saw her. He was disappointed that she was unattractive. She had messy dark hair, and her teeth were big. She was waving at him, so he waved back. Brian felt uncomfortable but remained civil. He forced himself to get to know her despite her looks. There he learned that she was Zoya, not Masha. Brian was delighted to hear that. He never wanted to date her either. He looked around and saw a blonde lady. She looked more attractive than Zoya, so he approached her. However, the lady only passed by him and hugged her boyfriend. Brian felt disappointed. He had no idea how Masha looked and where she'll be found. All of a sudden, someone pats his back. It was Masha. She's undeniably beautiful. Her face looks innocent and charming. She was also stunning in her black dress and curly hair. Brian's world stopped. He couldn't move as he admired her beauty. Brian apologized to her for not recognizing her instantly. He told the lady he had no idea about her looks because her dad never gave him a photo. Masha was just fine about it. She told the man that she stalked his profile online, so it was easier for her to find him. There, Brian learned that Masha doesn't want to be married to him. Her dad only forced her. He wanted her to get a green card. The lady also told him that the two guys in the bar were INS agents, Agent Mayers and Ross, whom her dad failed to bribe the last time. After learning that someone is watching them, Brian becomes sweet to Masha. He acted naturally, like how the lady instructed him. Masha brought him to the dance floor. She loved to dance. She was the one leading him for a slow dance. Masha also hugged him. Brian enjoyed the moment and he never wanted to let go. Suddenly, he saw Bricks, who stared sharply at him. He startled and moved away from the lady. After enjoying the night, Brian headed to his apartment. Two men approached him. They are immigration agents. Agent Ross interrogated him. He asked where he and Masha met. Brian tried to be composed and recalled everything he practiced with Bricks. The agents were not yet convinced. Agent Mayers doubted why they were rushing to get married. It was also timing for Masha's visa expiration. The agents warned him that he was about to marry the daughter of a notorious man involved in different criminal cases. Brian replied that it was his will to marry Masha, and he was not paid to do it. The agents told him to tell them the truth, or he would be jailed. They also advised him to confess if the marriage was a form of coercion. The agency will always be there to protect him. Brian insisted that Vlatko did not force him, and he loved Masha so much. The INS agents left him. They left a calling card in case his mind changes. Brian and Masha were finally married. A celebration followed in a hotel. Masha looked elegant in her white dress. She looked happy, and there were no traces that she was only forced to do so. Brian, on the other hand, was also smiling from ear to ear. He acted well, and Vlatko was surprised. The guests applauded as the married couple danced to the romantic song. Tanya cannot accept that Brian was married to someone. She planned to gate crash the reception to make their special day miserable. Vlatko's man blocked her. He said that the celebration was private. Tanya outsmarted the man by flirting with him. Meanwhile, INS agents were also there. They disguised themselves as a bartender. The guests requested the couple to kiss. Bricks felt jealous because he never wanted any man to kiss Masha. Brian did not think twice and kissed the lady. Bricks looked sharp at him because the kiss lasted long. He wanted to punch Brian, but Vlatko stopped him. The old man told him that he could do anything he wanted to Brian after the annulment. As of the moment, he should not bother them. He wanted to play safe in case INS agents were in the vicinity. Suddenly, a lady stood on the stage and grabbed a mic. It was Tanya. She congratulated the newlywed, especially Brian. She creates a scene after saying that she and Brian are couples. Everyone was shocked, including the special agents. Fortunately, Vlatko's guard carried her away. Brian went to the platform to explain. He told the guests that he loved only one woman except for her mother. He was lucky that he had married his dream girl. Everyone at the reception clapped and found his words sweet. As the reception ended, Masha's mom, holding her injured cat, reminded Brian to take care of her daughter. Vlatko also warned him never to touch Masha or else he will put an end to his life. Brian and Masha flew to South Pacific for their honeymoon. They arrived in Marquesas. The couple still needs another ride to reach the island. There, Brian told his wife that it would be better for them to be friends. Masha disagreed. She replied that they should be more focused on their acting. They have to convince everyone that they are married. They went to the information desk. Masha told the attendant they had an 11 a.m. flight to Nukuhiva. The lady replied that all the flight in Marquesas was canceled due to weather disturbance. She suggested them to book a room while waiting. Brian asked if there are alternative ways to reach the island. The lady recommended Ernesto Cruz. He offers a guided tour, private flight, and free sandwiches. Masha asked Ernesto if he could manage flying despite the weather. The man said that no passenger had lost their lives so far because of him. Brian and Masha hopped to the chopper. Ernesto maneuvered it in the middle of dark clouds and lightning. The wind blew fast, and the aircraft kept vibrating. The couple trembled with fear. Ernesto, on the other hand, looked chill. He even maneuvered the helicopter one-handed. Masha asked him if he knew where they were. The pilot said the instruments were already broken, but he could still manage them. The helicopter continued shuddering because of turbulence. It slowly went down and seemed to lose its engine. Ernesto said to the couple to brace themselves for impact. Brian and Masha screamed as they felt that the aircraft was falling. From the dark and windy environment, they landed in a tropical place. They finally arrived at Nukuhiva. From there, Ernesto drives them to the resort in his old Jeep. He was extremely reckless in driving, that the couple's clothes became muddy. They arrived at Lover's Bay Resort. Brian and Masha were traumatized by their long trip. Ernesto asked for a tip even if they almost got into an accident. Masha couldn't take it anymore and bathed in the fountain. She catches Brian's attention, and the man finds her attractive. He froze as he stared at her. At that moment, he knew he was falling in love with her. Unfortunately, he has to control his emotions, because Vlatko will surely put him to eternal sleep. The beach was majestic. The blue skies are reflected in its crystal clear water. Masha toasted a wine to Brian. She told him about her dream honeymoon destination. There, Brian learned that she was not really in love with Brix. Her dad was the only one who pushed her to be with him. She also said that after getting the visa, she wanted to open a dance studio for the kids. Masha has loved dancing ever since. She wanted to teach dance freely to those unprivileged children. Brian fell in love more with her. He thanked the lady for the tropical forest honeymoon idea. Brian loved it because he liked taking photos of animals. He can do that on their vacation when he encounters wild animals. Brian rested himself in bed. He could not believe that he was already married. Masha also laid with him. The man rattled. He immediately gets up before he is tempted by her. He told Masha that she could take the bed because he would sleep in the chair. He went out to grasp some air. Night came, and Brian went to the bar. He saw everyone in pairs, compared to him sitting all alone. The hotel waitress approached her. She is Lani. She was curious why he was alone. Brian replied that his wife was sleeping in their suite after the long trip. Lani lectured him. He should not leave his wife alone on their honeymoon. She also advised him to be a romantic husband. Brian shared that Masha loves dancing, however, it's not his thing. Lani giggled and brought him out to dance. She taught him how to dance slowly. Brian's hips were stiff. Lani touched it to help him sway to the soft beat. Out of their knowledge, Masha was watching them. She was so mad at Brian. She told him that it was so disrespectful for him to flaunt himself to a woman on their first day of the honeymoon. Brian felt sorry, and he didn't mean to hurt her. He held Masha's arms and said she looked amazing in her dress. The lady removed his hands and clarified that their relationship was only for citizenship. Brian was hurt. Masha left him. In the city, Vlatko asked Brix if he had updates on how his daughter's honeymoon went. The man replied that they had encountered a storm and it was hard to reach them. He also intends to follow them to the island because he doesn't trust Brian. The next day, Brian sat in the living area in the lobby. He was reading a magazine, lonely. Masha was still mad about what he did last night. He pitied himself seeing other couples' romantic gestures. Lani saw him. She felt sorry that his wife was angry because of her. She told Brian she knew a secluded cove where he could bring Masha. It is only a mile away from the hotel. The place is romantic. He and Masha will surely enjoy it there. Brian refused because he was not familiar with the island. Lani gave him a map so that they won't be lost. There, Brian felt confident that Masha would accept his apologies. His phone rang. It was his mom. She was asking how the honeymoon went. Brian felt irritated. He told her that it would be impossible to give her grandchildren, because his wife doesn't even like him. His mom disagreed and said she didn't like his dad back then. She motivated his son to pursue Masha to make her fall in love. Brian went to their suite to apologize. He was surprised because Masha was talking to him. She wasn't mad anymore. She was sorry for overreacting last night. Brian said it was also his fault because he went near girls even if he was married. There, he invited Masha to go to the lagoon that Lani suggested. They started walking in a jungle. Brian brought his camera to take pictures. Masha loved to see the giant trees everywhere. She looked so happy, and Brian offered to take photos of her. He was also throwing jokes at the lady, which greatly entertained her. Finally, they reached the lagoon. It was so beautiful that Brian ran to the water. He removed his trunk and threw it in Masha's direction. The lady teased him and ran away with his trunk. She wanted to hide it in the forest. Masha runs as she hears Brian's voice. Suddenly, two men kidnapped her. They covered her mouth and nose with a handkerchief. She lost her senses instantly. Brian went back to the hotel with leaves covering his lower body. He asked Lani if she had seen Masha. The lady said that she was in their suite. Shortly after Brian left the reception, Brix arrived. Brian went into their suite. He was shocked to see Tanya there. She was lying in bed and flirted with him. Brian rattled. He wanted her to disappear. Tanya never listened and kept giggling. Brian went mad and told her that he was already married. Suddenly, his phone rang. It was Masha. He accepted the call but heard a male voice. He informed him that they had abducted his wife. They will only return her once he'll give $10 million. He only has until 6 p.m. tomorrow. They also warned him never to call the police or else they will put his wife to eternal rest. Brian replied that he's only a photographer and doesn't have that much money. The guy ended the call by saying he needs to find cash if he wants his wife alive. Masha was abducted by two men. They brought her in a jeep and drove away. They removed their masks. They were the INS agents. Meanwhile, Lani went to the suite where Brian stayed. The man told her that Masha had been kidnapped earlier at the lagoon. The waitress was shocked because she was the one who suggested the place. Inside, she was surprised to see another lady on their bed, Tanya. She was introducing herself as Brian's girlfriend. The man denied it and was so angry with her. Meanwhile, Brix headed to the bar. A man told him that he saw Brian dancing intimately with a waitress. He also went to the jungle with Masha, and he had no clothes when he went back to the hotel. Brix's temper went high after hearing that. He suspected that he had violated the rules and touched Masha. In the suite, Brian felt terrified. He knew someone who could help him with the ransom, and he was Masha's dad. However, he was afraid to tell him that his daughter had been abducted. He didn't know what to do. Lanny suggested that he should rescue her. Brian thought it would be impossible. He's not familiar with the island. Lanny offered herself to help. She also said that her cousin could also guide them around the island. She insisted on such idea because they were running out of time. The island is small, and there is a higher possibility that they can find her. Someone knocked on the door. It was Brix. Brian rattled and instructed the ladies to hide. Brix was looking for Masha. He held Brian out of anger. Brix heard female voices on the balcony, so he went there. Brian felt nervous because Lanny and Tanya were hiding there. Fortunately, they were able to jump before Brix could see them. Since he could not see Masha, Brix aimed his pistol at Brian. He stuttered and said that the lady was in the pool. Brix went to the pool to look for Masha, but he found Tanya instead. He asked where Masha was. Out of fear, she told him that she was abducted and Brian would rescue her. Brix went back to the suite to confront Brian. Inside, he found out that he was not there. Lanny's cousin finally arrived to help them search for Masha. It was Ernesto, the man who drove the couple to the resort. Brian didn't want to ride to him again as he recalled that they almost got into an accident because of him. However, Brian had no choice, so he accepted the offer. Tanya went running towards them. She was trembling out of fear. The lady told them that Brix was looking for Brian. They saw Brix. He went nearer and fired at them. Ernesto went full speed to escape him. Even if his vehicle is old, it still functions well. Brix, on the other hand, hopped on his car to follow them. He was also shooting them as he drove. They all hid under the seats except for Ernesto. He remained calm and grabbed his pistol. He looked cool and fired back at Brix. However, he ran out of bullets, so he continued driving. Ernesto turned to the bush to take another path. It was also his strategy to outsmart Brix. He followed his path but ended up being trapped by a coconut tree. It blocked his wheels. Ernesto went back to the main road. His passengers were delighted to see Brix having difficulties in the jungle. Tanya finds him calm, and she starts to flirt with him. At the end of the path is where his chopper was parked. Tanya requested to sit beside Ernesto. She was falling in love with him. Brian and Lanny also settled on their seats while Brix was not there. Ernesto turned on the engine. It took so much time that Brix could already be seen on the runway. They rattled because the machine could not start. Ernesto hit all the buttons, and it finally functioned. The rotor blades rotated, and the helicopter was lifted into the air. Brix fired at them, hoping that he could shoot their engine. However, he was unsuccessful. Ernesto's chopper went far from him. Brix informed Vlatko about what happened to Masha. He said that she was kidnapped after Brian brought her to the jungle. The photographer also returned to the hotel wearing no clothes after the incident. Meanwhile, Masha was brought to a secluded camp. The agents tied her inside a shed. They also covered their jeep with a camouflage cloth so that no one would notice them on air. Ernesto's helicopter passes that area. However, Tanya screamed after a centipede crawled on her legs. Because of that, they could not see the camp where Masha was hidden. It was almost dark, but the group couldn't find Masha. They camped on a shore to eat dinner. Ernesto also caught fish. Tanya was amazed at his skill. Meanwhile, Brian looked bothered. He could not calm down, knowing they only had until tomorrow to find her. Lanny approached him and said that they would visit the next day in a fishing village, the remaining place on the island that they did not visit. Night came, and Masha could not sleep. Agent Mayer stole her wedding ring, so she kicked him. She shouted, but nobody could hear her. Agent Ross came in and told her to shut up. He also tied her feet to make sure that she won't escape. Early morning, Brian and his group went to the fishing village. The locals said that they saw Americans riding on 4 wheels. They also headed to the mountain, according to them. Lanny blamed Tanya. They already went to that mountain, but she screamed because of a worm. Ernesto lectured Lanny to stop shouting at Tanya. He said that they could fly back to the hill again. Lanny refused. She suggested that they should hike there, so that the kidnappers won't notice them. They have to trek for 2 hours to reach there. Tanya complained. She's not into hiking, and it would be tiring for her. She swam into the sea and flirted with Ernesto instead. Brian was pissed off with Tanya and Ernesto. Time is ticking, but they haven't found Masha yet. He had no choice but to talk to Vlatko on the phone. He told him that he loved his daughter so much and he would do anything to rescue her. If he won't find her until 6 p.m., he requests him to deposit the money for the ransom. Brian grabbed a pistol. He decided to rescue Masha alone. Brix, on the other hand, drove to the fishing village where Brian stayed. He is sure that he's the mastermind for abducting Masha. INS agents talked to their boss on the phone. He was also the one who ordered to kidnap the lady. They informed him that the chopper never returned and it was now safe to go to the camp. The boss was revealed, and it was Brix. He betrayed Vlatko and used her daughter to steal his money. In the secluded camp, Masha successfully untied the rope around her hands. She also removed the blindfold and untied her feet from the chair. She wanted to escape, but the door was locked. She checked her surroundings and formulated an idea of how to get out. She combined chemicals that she saw on the shelves. She stirred it into a bucket. Masha told the agents that she needed to use the comfort room. Agent Mayers went inside to untie her. He opened the door, and the lady poured the chemical into his face. She also covered his head with the bucket. Mayers screamed for help. He couldn't see anymore. Agent Ross went inside to check the commotion. There, Masha banged him with a surfboard. The two lost their senses. The lady grabbed the chance to run away. Meanwhile, Bricks arrived at the fishing village. He saw Ernesto, and he banged him with a paddle. He collapsed after that. Bricks also grabbed Tanya and covered her mouth. He told her not to scream. He asked about Brian. Tanya said that he went to the mountains. She lost her senses after she stepped on a paddle and hit herself. Hours after, Ernesto woke up. He remembered about Bricks attacking him. Because of that, he went to Lanny. He wanted to help Brian. The two rode on the chopper to rescue Masha. The agents also woke up. They rode on the jeep to search for the lady. Masha, on the other hand, called Brian. She told him she was near a shed and surfboards. She's currently walking on the main road. Brian arrived at the camp. He immediately went to the shed with surfboards. Inside, he found Masha's ring. He was about to go out, but he saw Bricks. He was holding a rifle. Brian hid. Bricks learned that Masha was not in the shed. He called his men, and they confirmed that the lady had escaped. Brian overheard their conversation. There, he realized that he was the mastermind of abducting his wife. Brian was about to leave the place silently, but his phone rang. Bricks heard it and fired the side of the shed where the tone was heard. It was Brian. He was running away from him. Bricks fired his rifle in his direction. Brian fired back, but he's not into guns. He failed to shoot Bricks. All he did was run around the camp. Brick cornered him. Brian hid in a cabinet, and bullets were fired at him. Bricks laughed because he was sure that he had targeted Brian. He opened the cabinet, but only a chicken was there. Brian escaped. He outsmarted him and used his jeep to rescue Masha. When Bricks heard his jeep, he hurriedly went to the road. However, he was too late and didn't catch Brian. Meanwhile, Masha kept running after Agent Mayers saw her. She found herself on a cliff with the river below. She called the agent's attention. She pushed him to the river after. The lady ran to the main road and bumped into Brian. She hopped in before the other agent could follow. Before they could leave the vicinity, Agent Ross fired at them. He targeted the engine. The jeep burned, and Brian could not control it anymore. The vehicle headed to a sloping area. Masha and Brian have no choice but to jump. They ran to the river and found a boat. They rowed on it. Brian knows how to row a boat. He instructed Masha to paddle as fast as she could. The lady was able to contact her father but failed to mention the mastermind. Agent Mayer, whom she pushed on the river earlier, was swimming beside them. Her phone accidentally fell into the river because of him. Brian banged him with the paddle, and they were able to escape. After minutes of rowing, they found themselves in a river full of mangroves. They heard a noise. It was coming from a tribe. They wanted to help them. The two docked in their village. The tribal leader welcomed them wholeheartedly. The couple could not understand their language, but they could feel that they were harmless. The tribe was hospitable and offered them food and shelter. Later that night, the tribe celebrated with music and dances. The males played a romantic song, and the ladies danced to the soft beat. Masha, who loves dancing, joined them. She danced gracefully, and Brian couldn't stop staring at her. He went near to the lady and invited her for a dance. Brian proposed again. This time, he already has feelings for her. Everyone clapped to congratulate them. It was a romantic night for the couple, and they kissed. The next day, Masha and Brian woke up. They went out from the nipa hut, and the tribe clapped at them. The tribe leader also provided them breakfast. Because of their noise, Agent Ross and Bricks headed to their village. They fired at everyone. Brian and Masha ran to a slope. They rode on a giant leaf to slide down faster. The couple headed to the cliff at sea. There, Agent Ross cornered them. He was about to shoot Brian, but Bricks fired at him. Bricks wanted to appear as a hero, so he did that. However, Masha already knew that he was the mastermind. He can't fool her. She knew that he hired the agents to help him abduct her. He also used her to steal her dad's money. Bricks admitted it and reasoned that he only did it for their future. The lady said to him that even if he's the only man left in the world, she won't tie a knot with him. She never fell in love with him in the first place. Bricks was hurt. He aimed his gun at Brian. Ernesto's chopper arrived, and it caught Bricks' attention. Brian grabbed the chance to attack him. However, Bricks was undeniably stronger and taller than him. Brian was beaten up. The helicopter went away, afraid Bricks would push Brian to the cliff. While they were fighting, Masha grabbed and aimed the gun at Bricks. She had difficulties holding the weapon, but she tried. Bricks was about to push Brian to the cliff, but Masha fired at him. Bricks' body fell, but he still managed to drag Brian with him. Masha screamed out of shock. The two fell before her eyes. She runs to the cliff with the hope that Brian is alive. Bricks landed on the rock while Brian's body fell to the sea. However, the current was too strong. The waves also splash onto the rocks, and it would be impossible for Brian to survive. Suddenly, Masha saw a head floating. It was Brian. He was swimming away from the strong current. Masha jumped out with joy. She was thankful to see him alive. Ernesto's chopper rescued them, and they headed to a safe zone. Vlatko's men were awaiting their arrival. They immediately captured Brian and beat him up. He looked so tired and injured. Someone also aimed a pistol at him. Vlatko was mad that he had kidnapped his daughter. Masha ran to her father. She explained that it was Bricks who abducted her. Vlatko stopped his men. He thanked Brian for rescuing his daughter. He also gave him a pistol as a gift. Masha's mom was also grateful for his heroism. She's not angry with him anymore for the incident in his studio. Vlatko and his wife were giving Brian a blessing for their daughter's hand. They wished that Brian would continue their marriage. They knew that Masha was in safe hands with him. Brian was officially welcomed to the family. Brian, on the other hand, was not happy. He was hurt that he injured him for the crime he never did. He was teary, staring at Masha. He told her he loved her so much, but he couldn't live with her family. He walked out sobbing and left them. Vlatko planned to follow him, but his daughter held his arms. She requested him to let go of Brian. She already fell in love with him, but she wanted him to live in peace. Months passed by, and Brian continued accepting clients in his studio. While he was busy taking photographs, his mom called him. She was mad that he had broken up with his wife. She also said that he overreacts to things that are not even complicated. He loved the woman, but he was not that brave enough to be with her. He already has feelings for Masha, but unfortunately, he never wants to be with her anymore because of her family background. Meanwhile, Masha continued dance training. However, she was still bothered thinking about Brian. She loved him already, but she was in pain after he left. Brokenhearted, Masha went out of the dance studio lonely. She grabbed her things to go home. As she was walking outside, she saw a bottle of wine. It was her favorite and the one she drank with Brian during their honeymoon. Outside, she saw the tribe that rescued them. The tribe leader serenades her with romantic music. Masha was teary. Their sweet gesture touched her. She looked around and also saw Lanny. She ended up with the guy she met at the fishing valley. Suddenly, Brian appeared before them. He was also crying. He begged her to come back to him. For the third time, he proposed to Masha again. This time, he never cared about her family background anymore. All he knew was he loved her so much.